Do you know what to do if you have been exposed to HIV? If there is rape, do you know what to do to avoid the rape survivor from getting infected? If a healthcare worker has been pricked by an infected needle in the hospital, is there any way to prevent this healthcare worker from getting HIV? What if you were at the scene of an accident and you were helping people and there's so much blood, even you got injured? What do you do after that incident? That's what we're talking about today, post-exposure prophylaxis. These are drugs you take to avoid an infection. My name is Morolake Odetoyinbo. You're watching In Moments Like These. It's a program on HIV and AIDS, which is fully funded by Unilever Nigeria PLC. This program, In Moments Like These, is produced by Positive Action for Treatment Access and produced in collaboration with a network of people living with HIV and AIDS and the National Agency for the Control of AIDS. As we talk about post-exposure prophylaxis, rape is a hideous crime. It's not something we should take lightly. Unfortunately, when young girls, even older women have been raped, very little is said or done. If anybody you know has been raped, if you have been raped, or if ever you get raped, you should know that there is a solution. There is something you can do to prevent yourself from getting pregnant and from getting an infection. And that's what we're talking about. That's why we have this program today. That's why we're talking about post-exposure prophylaxis. What should this young girl do after she was raped by 3 strangers? What should anybody do? Even if the person who has raped you is your own friend. It doesn't have to be a stranger. What can we do about rape? Beyond reporting to the police, what really should we do about rape? Let's talk to the experts. Let's find out what they can do or what we should do. I don't even know if it's possible to find anybody in this country who is going to tell us and admit that, yes, I was raped, and who can share that experience with us. Let's see what the health workers have to say.
We don't see quite many, but they do occur. And it occurs in very bizarre way. I think this year, what we have seen is a young man that was raped by another man. That we managed, I think, around March, April this year. This incident actually didn't occur in Nigeria. It occurred on the street in London. It's a student, a Nigerian student, schooling in London, was raped at about 2 to 3 a.m. when he was coming from a party by another man. And the parents just bundled him into the next available plane, came to our clinic. That we successfully managed. The year before, we managed a reported case of a 3-year-old girl raped, 3-year-old girl, a pretty young girl, raped supposedly by the teachers at school. This happened the year before, that was 2008. Now, we've seen quite a larger number of cases of young adults who are raped at various circumstances that I may not be able to remember. But going through our records, I can say that the incident, which be number of new occurrences that we see per year, I don't think, if I check the record very well, it won't be more than 4 per annum.
In terms of statistics, it's difficult to come by, especially in relation to Nigeria, because there has not been any national study as such on that crime. So we really can't say how bad the situation is, but it does happen. And in terms of, that's talking about rape within marriage. In terms of rape outside marriage, that's rape, being raped by maybe a family member or a friend or somebody who you don't know. That one too, we can say, does happen on a very high rate, because reports by Amnesty International do testify to the fact that it is endemic in Nigeria. And then from 1 or 2 cases that we have heard of girls coming to report that they had such experience, you can say such things don't happen. The only thing is that oftentimes when you want to help such people to carry on such case in terms of following up legally, they really don't want to, because they don't want people to know that they have had that kind of experience. So because people are often silent about it, there's a wrong impression out there that it doesn't happen, but it does happen.
It was a terrible experience. I remember that I was in school and it happened on a Monday morning. We were all sleeping and there was this bang on the door. Initially, I thought it was my roommates probably waking us up to, or that it was time for everybody to go to school. And I opened the door and I was surprised to see these men with guns and cutlasses, and I was like, God, what is this? And the next thing was lie down. And it was terrible because it wasn't just one person. When you have 5 people taking turns on you, telling you what to do, it was really, really, I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it that, each one of them told me what to do. It was not just that I just laid down and it was, the rape was, it was a different experience, because the first person was like, okay, lie down. The second person was turn your back. He told me what to do, and it was really a terrible experience. I remember that when they left, that was when it dawned on me that, whoa, I've just been raped, not by 1, not by 2, but by 5 guys.
Temitayo was raped by 5 men, and she did not know what to do. Her pastor didn't know what to do. Her landlord didn't know what to do. All they knew was to get her to the hospital because they didn't want her to get pregnant. This happened 10 years ago. Right now she's living with HIV. If she had known then, maybe she wouldn't have gotten infected today. Not maybe. If she had known what to do then, she definitely wouldn't have been infected from that experience today. Meanwhile, Dr. Akomu told us that the whole of last year, they had only 4 people who came to the Lagos University Hospital to report rape, which means the whole of last year, Luth is the biggest hospital we have in this town, in this state. It's a teaching hospital, and in the entire Luth, only 4 reported cases of people who have been raped and who came for post-exposure prophylaxis. But talking to Buki's Akérèmesì, he told us 1 in 3 women have either been sexually harassed or abused. There's a huge disconnect between the figures we have for those who have been harassed or abused and those who are going to the hospital to ask for post-exposure prophylaxis. Is this because people don't know what to do? Or is it because we really don't care? Are we too ashamed to report rape? Are we too embarrassed to seek for help? We know and we all agree that this is one of the worst things that can happen to you as a woman. However, your life after that experience, after that rape experience, still continues. And it's important you get some solution. Do you know what to do? You heard it, we can't afford to take chances, which means we must get post-exposure prophylaxis, this thing called PEP, post-exposure prophylaxis. These are the drugs that you will be given to prevent the virus HIV from attaching to your CD4 cells. And that means it doesn't matter, once you get to the clinic, they will place you on these drugs, then you'll be tested for HIV. If you are HIV negative, you will continue the drugs for 28 days. However, if you get to the hospital and you are HIV positive, it means you didn't get HIV from that rape incident, which means it's too late to prevent HIV infection. However, if anybody has been raped, if you have been raped, if anybody you know, please go to the hospital. Let that be the very first thing you do. Now my question for those of us who are at home is, would you report rape?
Yes, I would. I would. Because I think rape is not what anyone should get away with. I mean, the rapist is not meant to get away scot-free. Because number 1, it is a crime, and number 2, it is a violation of, a human right, if I should use that word.
No. Because it's more or less like you're trying to expose the person out. The person involved, or probably let me say the victim, you're trying to expose her, basically her. You're trying to expose her out, and that could tell so much on our personality. That's the major reason.
I will report to a police station. I will go to the police station and report to them, and that's the only thing I can do.
Rape is an injustice. Rape is a crime that's an abomination. Nobody can justify rape. Nobody deserves to be raped. It's never all right for rape to happen. It's not all right for you to laugh just because you're trying to avoid crime. It's not all right for you to be afraid for night time. It's not all right for you to distrust men. It's not all right for you to be afraid of every sound. Rape is never all right. And that's the message today. Rape is hideous. It's the worst thing that can happen to you as a woman. But even if you have been raped, you've been told today, you can prevent HIV infection. You can have access to post-exposure prophylaxis. These drugs will make sure that you do not get infected. As soon as the rape happens, please go to the doctor. Don't wait. Temitayo has told us that we can wait. You can get it before 72 hours. But that's the worst case scenario. The longer you wait, the more the chances of getting infected. So as soon as possible, immediately go to the hospital.